Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mike with FormAWin here to help you guys get your first engineering job. Today we have Barack. He's one of our star clients. He went from 90K to 140K in his engineering roles. Now he's a robotic engineer. Let's get into it.
FormAWin for over 4 months
Part
now.
of the FormAWin community for a couple months now.
I just got my first internship.
Just landed my first internship.
Biggest thing I want you guys to do is take one thing away from today and make sure you implement it, change your life.
100% directly resulted in me getting an internship offer.
Barack, welcome in, man. Glad to have you. You're an awesome client. I just want to start off by saying that, right? I mean, you're going to talk about your whole journey, but I work with some people. They're all awesome, right? But you came in guns ablazing. You showed up. You checked in with me daily, and I just really respected and appreciated like all the hard work you've given. Like sincerely, brother. Like I really do mean it. It's just like it just shows a testament to your character, and you're the type of person I want to work with. So why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself? Why don't you let that rip?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, my name is Brock. I'm a mechanical engineer. So, I've been working for about 5 years now. Mike just helped me got my third job as a robotics engineer. With a pretty significant pay bump. But yeah, I'm working in the medical sector. My new job is more biomed, but yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, really proud of you. It was a really cool interview process too. We're going to break that all down because that was one of the primary things that we've helped you with. We'll be talking about like future career readiness and how to build yourself a brand. For everybody watching, something I like to say and that we talk about a lot is treating our career like a business and not just like a
Mhm.
job. So that has multiple facets to it. It's awesome. Barack is a living testament to that. So I love that. But Barack, why don't you just kind of break down your experience inside of FormAWin, why you joined, and just lay it on them.
Yeah. I joined FormAWin because I just wanted some interview practice, and just kind of some support when looking for jobs. Like it's nice to have someone I could share an email with and be like, "Hey, could you help me read this situation?" Um, and yeah, it's definitely very valuable to get active feedback on like an interview. Obviously, in a real interview, the only feedback you get is like, do you get the job or not? They're not going to like, email you back saying, hey, you should smile more or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? uh, but yeah, it's definitely just been a good kind of like crutch throughout my job process to kind of have, second person to bounce things off of.
Awesome. I love it. What do you think makes FormAWin different than maybe a traditional mentor, right? Like, so like, there's a mentor and then there's FormAWin. Why don't you describe some of the differences?
Hmm. Yeah. Say like FormAWin is more of a concrete program, I guess, than, mentorship is just, some guy usually helping you out, which is nice, but I think, FormAWin has, you get access to a community, which is super nice. And then also it's like, generally mentorship session is kind of like inside, might be inside your company or your current workplace. FormAWin is, outside of that, which is super nice because you can talk about things without the added pressure of, it being your boss, being your boss or something like that. Yeah.
Amen to that. I love that. Yeah, no, 100%, right? Because like that's the biggest thing. Sometimes when you talk with people, I mean, they have your best interests at heart, sure, but there's still like a level to it, right? Because there's just like
Yeah.
if inside the company, you still got like there's bounds that you have to operate within, right? Because then you might, violate some codes or whatever. And FormAWin, I don't care about violating no codes. We have no codes. All I care about is making you as successful as possible. So I love that. You're right. Cool. So
Yeah,
I'd
for
like
sure.
for you to share a little bit more about maybe your experience in it, right? Maybe kind of the whole interview process as far as, what touch points we might have had. We had some panel mock interviews helping you draft the emails, obviously, right? But there's a lot more to it than that as well. Don't release everything, right? We got some proprietary frameworks, you know what I'm saying? But like still kind of
Sure.
just what was your experience like?
Yeah. So I started FormAWin kind of like a few days before an interview with the company I'm gonna work for. So Mike set me up with some mock interviews in pretty quick, pretty short time frame. So I was able to get a couple of them in really fast before my interview, which just kind of just helped me practice. Right, you can always get more practice interviewing. Some of the assistance with like salary negotiation, super nice. Um, And then yeah, just having someone to bounce, like I could, send you my resume, be like, hey, could you take a quick look at this? Is this a good, resume for such and such role? Definitely very valuable. Um, and yeah, but it's also nice to have someone to push me to apply, right? It's like, when I was pretty close to the end with this job, I started kind of coasting. I was like, I'm probably gonna get this, but it's good, it's good to have someone to push you to still, send out applications and stuff, even when you get lazy.
Yeah, man, no, 100%. And then I also remember you kind of going into your I think after the first phase interview, right? You were going to kind of coast a little bit, like you said, but we kind of needed to nail it back because they were interviewing other people, right? And our
Yeah.
response follow up to kind of how we do this needs to be very um methodical, right? As far as
Yeah.
speed as well as like what that looks like, right? Because yes,
Mhm.
there's, quality and quantity, and there's both arguments to be made. Quality is obviously going to beat some quantity, but then sometimes quantity has a quality of its own if you do so much volume, right? So if we combine
Yeah.
both aspects though, and we're just hitting all like we don't have to do one or the other, right? So that's something that we did with you, which I loved because you really kind of nailed this all out. And I think that we kind of left them almost kind of like salivating wanting you, which is the goal, obviously, right? So,
Yeah.
that's fun to always have because I know that you went into it, you were kind of just like rocking and cruising, and I felt it. And that confidence is a key thing. And I'm glad that you had that. So why don't we kind of break down what are your future goals? What does your future look like? I know we didn't really prepare for that, but why don't you share with the audience what your future goals are?
Well, yeah, so this company definitely seems like they wanted to hire, like they kind of want a long-term um you know uh hire, right? They were kind of discussing that, if after a few years of working there, there's good opportunity um for promotion and increasing, so like I might have a senior position in the next like 4 to 5 years, um, get some maybe management leadership experience in. But fundamentally, I just want a project to have ownership of and I can take responsibility for. I think that's kind of like the end goal of engineering is to, not just do what other people, tell you to do, but to have a project you own and you're responsible for. Um, but yeah, I don't know if, we'll see how things go with this company. Maybe I hate it and like I'm out in a couple years, or maybe, it does turn out to be really good, and which I think so. I'll be there for like 4 to 5 years, and then maybe I'll see if, the opportunities inside the company, and then, kind of evaluate the opportunities outside of it. Right.
I love it. Yeah, and then the cool thing, Brock, like just telling you, but then also for everybody watching that might be in a similar position, right? Like when we get this next role, whatever we're hunting, whatever we're looking for, whatever we're praying for, like
Yeah.
the biggest thing is like, okay, like now we're here. It's like, what's next, right? And something I
Yeah.
love about you, Brock, is that you operate out of the abundance mindset, right? And this is what I teach all my people, right? Because if we go with the abundance mindset versus just the normal career trajectory, right? Something we're going to be working on with you as far as these senior positions is like, okay, how can we make this happen quicker? Because it can. It really just can. It's not like
Yeah.
okay, that like to qualify for these, you have to be 55 years old, right? Like that's not part of the job description. None of them is, right? So what I'm saying? So like that doesn't necessarily matter. What does matter is how we structure ourselves through the company. So you're going to be moving on to our phase two accelerator program, which is really cool because I love kind of getting deep dived into like the work that we're doing because then
Yeah.
once we have a really large impact in the same way, guys, for everybody watching, you're most likely looking to get promoted, a higher salary. Obviously, if you're watching this, Barack's over here just crushing it. But as far as getting into that next role too, I also want you guys to think about like some of the different strategies and unique methods we're going to have to do to make ourselves exceptional in this job hunt is also what we're going to have to do once we're in the position too, right? And then that's going to be able to make and break for its own as well, right? A lot of what we teach our clients, and something for Brock with him going into this position, but some others are, you typically might just find positions that are made for you instead of just like something by the book, by the paper. And that's because these companies are businesses at the end of the day. And if they're businesses at the end of the day, if you add value to the company, number one, you're going to get paid what you're worth if we market it appropriately. But then number two, you can then make it what you want. Right. So that's the biggest thing I love focusing on. And that's what you're going to be able to do. Cause like, again, like you're just a rock star. That's also why they hired you. Right. Something that we talked about when we first started is I can't teach, how to be a good person, maybe a little bit, but like you're a good person. And all we need to do is refine some of the skills. And then you're able to just go and
Yeah.
self crush it. And I love it. So I'm super excited for you, man. What would you tell somebody that's, looking at FormAWin, they're potentially wanting to join, either they're looking to advance in their career or if they're looking for their next opportunity, right? Whatever the case is, what would you tell someone who might be on the fence about joining? What's something you would want to share with them? What's something that would be important to tell them? Tell them.
Yeah, I definitely say that you put a lot of effort in. You're always pretty quick with the responses. And yeah, I mean, I would say, um, Mike definitely puts, you know, he definitely puts a lot of effort in. I'm switching between talking to you and like third person, first person. But yeah, like, when I first joined, you set up those interviews pretty quick, with on short notice, which is super nice. Um, and yeah, I would say, it's worth the money. If increases your probability of getting hired, right, for an engineering job. Um, but yeah, I definitely recommend the program.
Awesome, man. I love it. Like it's really cool working with guys like you because then we just can go in and they're able to kind of live out these engineering things that you really want to do. And it's just really cool to just
Yeah,
see it unfold because that kind of makes me feel fulfilled too, right? Like I feel called to do this and I love helping, engineers like you just get into this awesome position because now you're a badass robotics engineer, right? So I love it. I'm super proud of you. I think that might conclude it, but something else I was going to ask, I just thought about this on the fly here for a little fun question because some that we mentioned is just like just a quick responses and stuff. So if you had to grade me, okay, all right, bear with me, everybody watching, who's better, FormAWin or ChatGPT?
form a win for sure. Yeah,
That's a fun one, right? So yeah, I don't know why I thought.
yeah. GPT is like, I don't know. There's some I can, it always gives you like a baseline level of performance, and a human being can be like above or below that baseline, right? But like the GPT is always constant. Like I don't know, like I've taken input from it on my like resume and like questions to ask during an interview and stuff, and it's like it's useful to have, but I feel like I'm better than it, right? Like, so yeah,
I
yeah,
love it, man. Yeah, no, I mean, like at least of today's date, June 2nd, ChatGPT might not be the best one because I know it's kind of archaic. June 2nd, 2026. That's what the date is. So at least at the time of filming it, it's a little archaic now. Now we got Claude and all these other stuff. But anyways, off on the tangent, Brock, thank you so much for joining. Everybody watching, go form a win. Reach out to us in the description if you need help with anything. We got your back for life, and we'll talk soon. Brock, thank you so much for joining. Bye, everybody.